How's it going, guys? Welcome to the Shift to Perspective YouTube channel, episode 2 of the full restoration process of my E39 M5. So in episode 1, we did a full wash with essentially 2-bucket method and Adam's strip wash to make sure everything was removed from the paint. Episode 2, which is this episode, is going to be the decontamination phase. Essentially, decontamination is where your car is exposed to the elements. So essentially, when you do normal washes, you're not removing any contaminants, you're just removing dirt. So there's plenty of contaminants still that will bond to your paint that you don't get off when you do a regular wash. That is the point of decontamination. Some decontamination is iron from the air, fallout, overspray from anything out in the environment. That's what clay is going to get removed. That's what clay is going to remove for you. The very first thing that I do for the decontamination stage is iron out. So this is pure iron remover. Any iron that's embedded in the paint is going to be lifted with this product specifically. I have a feeling that this car might need 2 applications. It's very possible, but with a black car it's going to be a little harder to tell, but we'll just have to see. The second part after you do the iron out is going to be a clay bar. The alternate, which I use on a lot of my cars because they usually aren't too bad, is this sort of an alternate clay bar method, which is called a nanoskin auto scrub. This is the medium grade. I also have the light grade. It just depends on what you need. So I'm actually going to be claying. I haven't clayed in a while, and I actually have one more item here that I don't see. So I have clay lubricant. You can use detail spray. I wouldn't advise detail spray because we're trying to remove any protection, and sometimes detail spray tries to leave glossy residue and gloss intensifiers after you use it. So essentially all you really need is something to make the surface lubricated, because this could potentially scratch your car, and it really does, because that's the point of why you need them. I will tell you that is a nickel. I will tell you, iron out, iron remover is one of the worst smelling car products I've ever smelled. So you definitely don't want to get it on your hands. You definitely don't want to do it in an environment that is not in an environment that doesn't have good circulation. So I'm going to use this. The key is to so essentially, this is the lemon scent. I have cherry. I tried both. I feel like the lemon doesn't smell as bad, but it literally smells like a dead skunk's body rotting. So just beware about that. Make sure you can rinse it off the driveway, which as long as you do that, you'll probably be okay. So there's no, what the heck? There's a little leaf. That is why you don't want to use a water blade if you're doing a normal wash, because that could be bad. We're going to start top to bottom. And yes, there is some water on the car, so that'll kind of dilute it in a little way, but that shouldn't be a huge deal. Definitely don't want to apply it in the sun. As you guys can see, there's no sun. The glass is fine. I would mind the plastics, you know, window trim and stuff like that, but generally speaking, if you're not in the sun, you'll probably be okay. And this is literally the most rancid product. I'm surprised I haven't been evicted from my apartment for using this. And of course, there's a decent amount of dry spots on the car, which is good, so it won't be diluted. Okay, peeps, it's going to be very hard to show you the iron, but as you can hopefully see with the light right there, you know, it's kind of in random little streaky areas. You know, I was kind of looking on the light, there was a little drippage there, and usually, you know, around the gas tank there's some, but I'm not seeing any stick out nearly as much as I thought. There's a bug dying in the iron removal, and on the mirror I can see a little bit. Of course, this car has you know, bluish in the paint. You can actually see the lines here. Some of them are darker than others, which means there's definitely iron here, as you can see maybe right there. So definitely needed it. So let's just wash this thing off, just rinse it right off. About 5 minutes or so maximum. can see that, but there's definitely iron particles here. It's purple, and it's looking pretty nasty, guys. Okay, iron removal is done. Definitely made a big difference. A lot more clarity and shine in the car. And as you guys can see, there's definitely purple water sitting all around here. That'll have to be taken care of very soon. I'll blow it off the driveway. But the next step is going to be grabbing your clay. I use Adam's Visco clay. One clay, this is a little smaller, but I'm a little limited here, as you guys can see. Definitely tear it in a few pieces, because if you have only one piece and then you drop it, you're screwed, because it's gonna pick up rocks. All you gotta do, grab your clay luber. All right, so this is definitely making some progress here. I don't know if you can hear that, maybe barely. But if I go over here, you can definitely hear pretty much nothing here, but you can hear it over here. So this is definitely working. All you have to do is flip it over. A couple pounds of pressure. Use this very liberally. Use it as much as you want. Too much, you can't even have too much. And I'm just going to show you the back. Hopefully you can hear it. There you go, there's some dirt on there. These spoilers and any other plastic, usually the spoilers on cars I do tend to be more contaminated and scratched. The paint seems to be softer. So there you go, there's some dirt. And of course doing it on the windows is really good too, because it lifts and makes the windows extremely clean, you know, once you wipe them afterwards. But definitely the windows are good. You can hear it on the windows too, which is crazy. Let me give you guys another great example. Of course, the lower quarter panel is usually the worst. That was from just behind the driver's wheel. Oh my God. So we are finally done with the M5. So this was a wrap up of episode 2 of the full paint correction series, the whole paint restoration series I'm going to be doing on my E39 M5. So this was the wrap up of the decontamination stage. After I decon, what I like to do is, if possible, I'd rather do it in separate days. So the first day, episode 1, was the wash and wheels and door jambs and all that stuff, so the full strip wash. and then I do the decontamination the same night, so it's the same night as I just did the wash, and then I dry the car off and pull it in the garage. And then the next day, especially because I have work every single day, 9 to 5 pretty much, I come in the evening, so I'll come in tomorrow evening and I will tape and inspect, and then I will probably do some test areas and start probably the focus areas. So the focus areas for wet sanding, and also maybe some focus areas for correction. So the whole thing's gonna need a 2-step correction for sure. But you'll have to stay tuned for the next video, which will show you how atrocious this paint is. I will say the decontamination was definitely a must here. Most cars after a few years or so usually tend to need it if they're exposed. Really the key is only do it if it needs it, but a lot of times it needs it if it's outside and it's driving around. So this paint is so smooth now. The clarity is a lot better. With all that rough crap on the surface, it's just gonna dull the paint. And of course the scratches are gonna dull it even more, but this is one step in the right direction. So as I mentioned, all of the information that I can think of, as well as the products, the iron out, the clay, and I did use some nanoskin auto scrub on a couple little panels. Those products are going to be in the description below. So with that said, the next step is going to be the taping, inspection, and test areas. Obviously taping works a lot better if you have a car that's fully dry, and I find that if it's 24 hours later, a lot of the water has either dripped out or evaporated. I blew the car out already, but even so, it's an extra time. I've been at it for a few hours. Your back starts to hurt a little bit and you start to get a little tired. I'm sweating, my whole shirt is soaked over here. So anyways, guys, I'm so pumped to get this car done. Finally, I have a good area to work in. I got the lights, and I have another special light I'm gonna bring in the garage. It's like a dual LED light that I usually use for sort of ambient light that's shining on the paint, but that'll be another video. Stay tuned for more. Don't forget to comment below if I forgot to mention anything. A lot of you guys are very experienced and you kind of get it already, but a lot of new subscribers don't get it. So the decontamination phase, I explained kind of in the beginning of this video, but I also have other videos where I deconned the M3 or the Jeep or someone else's car. I have lots of content on that, so you can always do a quick Google search. You can always comment below as well, but don't forget, if you do have any questions about something more technical that kind of requires several sentences from a reply as opposed to just comment on a video, I do have an email, which I did mention, and a couple other videos, which is in the description below. It's brandon@shiftedperspective.com. So try to reserve the emails for more thorough questions. If you're trying to do a correction and you're having some issues, maybe I can give you some pointers. It's really hard when it comes to something like that, in my opinion, just because I'm not a pro. I just kind of do my thing. But if there's anything like that, I'm more than happy to at least give you the input that I can help you with, and go from there. So anyways, long-winded response. Stay tuned for the next video, and I'll see you guys next time.